if you have always wondered what is involved in the process, this is as simple as it gets. And in 5 easy steps, I'll show you how to get started on diamond painting. So this is a sample diamond painting, and as you can see, there are a ton of colors in this, and if you move it so, or basically if you're moving, it actually shines, which we can't really see right now because it's very bright. So these diamond paintings actually look best at night or in dimmer lighting. But I can tell you that photos, videos never do them enough justice as seeing them in person. So let us start with step number 1. They usually come in a box. If they don't come in a box, they may come in a brown sort of package, and it will be rolled up either in bubble wrap if you're lucky, and if you're not, then it might end up being folded, squished, and wrinkled in the mail. So hopefully you get your kit boxed like this. And I'll tell you what you should have in it as a checklist. What you would normally have in typical kits are 3 things. Usually it would be the actual canvas, and in this case it's Squirt from Finding Nemo. And once again, these comes in many different sizes, and this is one of the smaller ones at 21 by 17 centimeters. The second item that you will see are, of course, the beads, or resins is what people call it. Some call these drills. And then you'll get in a Ziploc bag, usually, a green tray for putting your beads, and then a pink drill pen. And this will also come with a piece of wax. Some of them will only have half of this, some will have this much, some might give more if you're working on a bigger piece. So mainly you should have at least these 3 things in your kit. And if you have these things, then you should be able to complete your diamond painting with no problems. So next is checking that you have the right resins for the design that you have. So for example, with this particular design, we are looking at the actual design here, and normally there would be a legend right here below the area where it actually shows what the picture is going to look like after. So these are the codes, as you can see. One is coded 209. So as you can see in this one, all the H's, this is the letter H, can you see it? H, all of them are 209. Now these numbers are actually all the same as the DMC code. So if you were to cross stitch this pattern, for example, you can actually keep this design, buy a canvas, and buy the DMC according to the codes that you have on here, and you can actually cross stitch the exact same pattern. I suggest, of course, that you photocopy this first before you work on it as a diamond painting, because once you do, then you won't have the codes visible any longer since you've covered them with the beads or the resin. So the next step is to check and make sure that you have all of the resins here complete to be able to finish your diamond painting. So just open this up. And they will all come in individual packets. So for example, this is 3846. This is another 3846, which means you're using a lot of this color if they give you more than one bag. You've got 3363, 720, 3844, and so on. So just make sure that all of the codes that you have here, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? All of these codes, all of these, that you have the packets, the numbers for these codes. So now that you've got your complete set of tools for your diamond painting, now it's time to figure out how to contain all your resins, because obviously you're going to have to make a cut on this and pour it onto the tray. And then when you need to move on to the next color, you need to be able to make sure that this won't spill out, lest you are unable to complete it because you're missing an entire set of beads. So now it's time to figure out what kind of container you want to keep your resins in. So first and foremost, a lot of people like those tiny drawers where it's like a little cabinet and you've got the tiny drawers and they stick the code, which is the DMC code, like these, onto it, and then they can reuse it for future projects. Some like to use pillbox containers, while others use these containers that have their own individual lids, and they come in one big sort of flat plastic container with another big lid, and that's usually kept for nail art decor, like nail art sequins and glitters and whatnot. So I'm pretty sure that you can find a local store in your area that will cater to those kinds of tools that you can get for your resins. Now, personally speaking, as for me, we don't have Hobby Lobby and Michael's here in the Philippines, but what I found useful for me was to simply get one of these tin cans, and in this case, I've kindly asked my son if I can have his Spider-Man tin can, and it's really simple enough. Basically, it's pretty small. I needed it low enough so it's just right for the beads to be in, and there's just enough space for everything I have. So this is from my previous project that I did, that Buddha that I showed you, and I've got them all in Ziploc baggies. Now, as you can see, some may include some Ziplocs in the order when you buy them. Some may not have them, but what I like to do is I actually like to order these separately so that I have a bunch of these. Right now I have about 500 pieces, because in about one set of beads for one design, you usually will get about 30 colors or so. Some of them will have 40 colors, which means you're using one baggie for one color. So 100 bags is going to go through quickly if you have 2 or 3 different designs to work on. So this is what I do. Basically, I just take one Ziploc bag and let's say, for example, a lot number 333 for this Ziploc bag. And then I check my legend here to look for 333. And in this case, 333 right there is coded L on the design, and it's number 3. Now, I can choose to put only the DMC codes onto my baggie. I can choose to put these codes, which may become tricky because some of them are symbols, and it may make it more difficult to look for them in your tin can or in your container. But what I find useful is to just use these simple numberings for the codes to put in the bag. So I choose this number and then the DMC number. This number so it's easy for me to find, and then this number so that it's easy for me to be able to reuse them for future projects when I need more of that particular color, since it's pretty universal. They all use the same colors that is like the DMC color scheme. So for example, for 333, this was the number 3, right? Yes. So I'm just going to take a piece of paper. So in this case, any kind of paper, I'll fold it, and then kind of make a bunch of these small labels. I mean, you can buy label stickers, which makes things easier, but I figured, it doesn't really take a lot of time to just cut pieces of paper and get tape and, stick it onto your Ziploc. So for 333, for example, what I would do is I'll take a marker, put the number, which is 3, so it's easy for me to see, and then I will put the code of the DMC in ballpoint pen and something smaller, something like this. So you've got 3, which would be easy for me to look for in my tin can, and then 333, so that when I store them, I still have the DMC code in it. So I just take that, put it on top here, get my tape, and just stick them on there. And now I've got a baggie that's resealable with the codes number 3, easy for me to see, and then the number 333. So let's just do that right now. Just make sure that you are pouring all of the beads into your Ziploc because you wouldn't want to run out. And normally you wouldn't really run out of these resins unless you actually spilled them all over the floor and they were no longer found after, or you lost an entire bag, then yes, you will run out. So now I've got my DMC 333 with the code 3. So all I need to do now is look for the ones that I see with the code L, like for example this one, these are L's. And when I see the L, I just refer here, where's the L, and then I see it's 333, number 3. So then I look for this, and that means I start with that for that particular code. So that's how you can set up your beads and store them. I think this is, for me, the cheapest way to do it, because if I were to have like cabinets of all of the colors, I'm going to have to invest in the actual organizers. And right now I'm just really doing this as a hobby, so I don't have the space for a big cabinet. Some people have nice big art studio rooms that they can actually just store all of their artwork and stuff, and that's awesome. I don't have that right now, so I need it to be somewhere where I can just store it, keep it, and then maybe take it out when I need it again. So for example, all of my past projects that I've done, and I've done about 5 or 6 so far, all of the leftover resins from those projects are all in this container. And so I've got some where I didn't have those Ziploc baggies yet, so I just sealed them with tape. So if you don't have Ziplocs, what you can just do is simply make a cut here at the very top, but make sure you keep the number, the DMC number. And then on the other side, that's where you put the number. So it's easy for you to see instead of trying to look for 3387, because sometimes you think 3387 and somebody talks to you, all of a sudden you're looking for a 3386 and then you're putting in the wrong code or the wrong color onto the code. So you wouldn't want that to happen. So something quick like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 30 is easier to remember, right? So I put that bigger code onto the other side. I'll show you which ones I've done that for, but I think I already removed that bigger code. Oh, here it is. So for example, this is 304, and on the other side, I simply put 5. And all of them are facing this way, so when I look through it, I just see the number. And then when I'm no longer using them, I just seal them up with a piece of tape, and it is here just in case I need extras of 304 or 720, etc. So here they are. There's a ton of them. I don't throw them out because you'll never know if you'll need more of a particular color. So, just don't throw it, because it's difficult to find these resins if you run out of them. It's not as easy as buying a kit. So usually these diamond paintings come as a kit, not individually sold. Okay, so now that you've got your containers, you've got your beads organized and coded, you've got all the tools you need, now it's time to decide where to start. So a lot of people would start with just using one color. I don't do that because it means that I'm exposing every single area, most of the areas, and going through just one color, it kind of makes it boring for me too, because I'd like to be able to kind of change things up a bit. Seeing the different colors is nice to look at, so I don't do that. Some people like to go line by line like a printing machine. So for example, they'll start with this color, which is L, which is what we talked about earlier, number 333. And then they'll go and do one of T, and then one of this, and one of that, and then all of that, and work line by line going up, or maybe going down. I don't do that either because I think that that is way too much work. It's going to take a long time to just keep opening the baggies or keep opening your drawers and just taking out just one piece at a time. I don't do that. What I do personally, and once again, this is a personal preference, is I usually start from the bottom. Now, since I'm a right-handed person, that means when I'm doing my diamond painting, I'm working this way, right? This way. So if I start, for example, on the left side, then it makes me feel like I'm going to be sticking my hand onto the sticky part. So I prefer to start from this side, which is the right side. So I start from the right, going left, if you're right-handed. And if you're left-handed, it probably will be best to start this side moving here. Say I've decided I want to begin here. Let's say I will decide to do this part. And here's a tip. Let's say you know that you have only an hour to work on your diamond painting. You can just snip a small part and lift it up. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Where is my scissors? So for example, for here, right? Just lift it up and then snip this a bit. And when you snip that, it's just going to tear up very, very easily. So just start lifting it up. And now you've got a small exposed part that is ready for your diamond painting. So you can kind of fold that. As you can see, this area is still unexposed, but you've got this area that's already the sticky area. So I do it this way because if I don't, I feel like I have to keep lifting up the plastic and it's very tiring, and sometimes I end up knocking over my resins. So this way, once I've done a few of the colors, I can just fold it back down and it's still protected. So that's what I like to do. And once again, if you have more time to work with, then maybe you can work on this entire strip for, to start off with, and then working your way this way. So it depends on how much time you have. If you're not sure, then you can work a small section at a time like that, just lifting up the plastic and working this area first. So once you work that area, you can just snip off that top part of the plastic and then do the same thing with this other side. Once you're done with that, snip that off and then work your way at the top. So I hope that helps. Okay, so now that we're ready to begin, make sure that you get your drill pen and your wax. And this would normally be covered with 2 plastic sides. So you can just choose one side, uncover it, and sort of slide it, dab it, and whatnot, just making sure that you've got that part covered with some wax. And you don't really need a lot. Now you take your code. So for example, if I want to do L first, and that's L right there, 333, which is what we did earlier, number 3, 333, I simply open the Ziploc, and then you pour it. So keep that somewhere. Now what you do is you shake it gently, and as you shake it gently, you'll notice that most of the resins will lay facing up, and that's how you want them. You want the flat part of the resin facing down so that when you pick them up, it is ready for dotting. So we've got our purple number 333 resin on there, and now we're going to put it onto the ones that start, or the ones that are labeled L. So in this case, this would be an L right there. So simply put that, and like If you do that and it's not in the middle, it's okay because the glue actually works well where you can just slide it in place. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. If, let's say, for example, that was wrong, you can just actually take it out, as you can see, pick it up again, and redo it. You can manipulate it and simply center it. And it's as simple as that. Now, what do you do with this plastic thing? So you don't have to keep holding onto it. You can get something a bit heavy, like maybe a tape dispenser, and just lay it on top. That way, you've got both your hands free to just, steady the canvas and do your diamond painting. So you can pick up another resin and then go along one of the letter L's once again. And just keep repeating the process until you're done with the same color or the same code for that small patch of area that you have uncovered with the plastic covering. So here I'm doing the L's. And let's say we're going to stop here. So let's say I want to start doing the H's. Now you just do the same thing all over again, and that's as simple as it gets. So that is how you do it. And as you can see, these ones have already been dotted with the purple color that corresponds to the letter L. And the rest of them, it's basically just doing the same thing over and over again. And it's really great to see it kind of unfold and the picture come to life and be shiny from something like this. And that's how you diamond paint. I hope that that video was helpful. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Simply write it on the comment section below. And don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel for more on diamond painting. Thank you and bye.